For the first time in a long time, Genshin Impact has made me feel truly lost in the world of a game. Recently, after a long day at work, I logged in to do my daily commissions, and I found myself just sitting and relaxing. I was walking around the world, literally walking. As I moved through Liyue, I was walking instead of running. I never do stuff like that in a game typically. And I was just taking in the activities, the sounds, the sights. I find myself fully engrossed in this world when I get the chance to play, and it takes a truly special game to be able to bring this feeling out of me. I've been playing video games in some capacity since I was 4 years old, stretching as much joy and imagination as I could out of Pokemon Silver on my Game Boy Color. Even after I completed that game, I would retreat into that world day after day, experiencing every ounce of the game that I possibly could, be it through my imagination or what the game was actually presenting to me. It's a beautiful thing to me that for the first time since my youth, I'm getting to have feelings of that magnitude again here in Genshin Impact. Today I want to discuss not only how immersive the world of Teyvat can be, but what elements of the game come together to allow for that feeling of truly becoming a part of the world for but a few hours in the day. I view this to be an incredibly positive quality of Genshin and of any game in general. I'll also address a way that the game potentially loses some of its immersiveness, as there are some areas for improvement that I've witnessed the longer I've gotten to explore the world. All in all, I want to discuss the ups and downs that surround me as I dive into what is quickly becoming one of my favorite games. Something that's finally getting proper recognition in modern gaming audiences is how vital good scoring and orchestration are for setting the tone of a world. There was a time where not a lot of people fully understood that the sounds you're hearing play an incredibly significant part in determining what mood you're in as an individual. This is perhaps Genshin Impact's strongest area. Genshin's soundtrack is beautifully crafted from the get-go, as are the majority of Hoyoverse's titles. I've seen people in my comments joking that Hoyoverse is a music-making company that also chooses to make video games on the side, after all. But all joking aside, instrumentation for each region changes and exemplifies the culture that's being borrowed from the real world, while also highlighting the element that's the target focus for the region at hand. For example, Mondstadt is the land of wind, or of the Anemo Archon, and the majority of the tracks in that region have flute as a significant member of its instrumentation. Oftentimes it even has the melody itself. While in Liyue, the use of the guzheng, a Chinese string instrument, becomes quite prominent, and Liyue itself takes a lot of inspiration from China. This gives the sense that just as in real life, different cultures are characterized by different sounds and instruments, just as they're characterized by different customs. Furthermore, gameplay tracks are adaptive in Genshin's audio engine, meaning that as you move between areas or as day turns to night, tracks transition smoothly and gently to match the tone of what's happening in the world around you. The way that the world is laid out in each region allows the player to feel more connected and involved with the world as a whole. The way that the first two regions are structured match not only the logic of the world, but the logic of the story that exists within it. Mondstadt is the land of the Anemo Archon and the land of freedom. Many of Mondstadt's most prevalent locations, like Windrise and Mondstadt itself, are characterized by grassy plains with expansive, open territories. Many of the areas that deviate from this have high cliffs leading up to the potential to use the blessings of Anemo and glide, letting the wind take you where it may. In contrast to this, Liyue is the land of the Geo-Archon and is the land of contracts. Everything here is a transaction, and thus everything requires work. Liyue is riddled with long and winding pathways as well as towering rock formations and mountains. To navigate this land, you'll have to utilize your stamina heavily, but in the case of climbing these towering mountains, your transaction that you make is the exchange of stamina for the boon of flight and greater ease in reaching the next mountaintop. While this could all just be attributed to good planning and good game design, I think these types of details allow for the player to feel that the world is more believable and that they indeed have a place here. For the world in a game to feel lived in and allow for you to be lost in it, the world itself has to play by its own rules. When major events in the world happen, the consequences in the world need to be felt. The primary world-altering example that I've witnessed thus far is the purification of Dvalin and, by extension, his lair. The tornadic wind barriers in the lair are dispelled after you purify him, allowing for the real weather in the world to come through in this ancient ruin. This gives the player not only evidence that they've completed this quest, but it gives them further stakes in the world. They sought out Dvalin, they defeated him, and they purified him and the sanctuary. It adds weight in a simple yet impactful way. Now, on the controversial side of things, on the same plot point, we have limited event quests. In all of the community that I've engaged with, this is by far the aspect of the game that the most players would fix if they could. For the sake of it being stated aloud, at the time of this recording, event quests that are released in Genshin Impact are only available while an event is running. There is currently no way in-game for a player to experience these events if they didn't play them on their initial release themselves. This would be fine if they were just little quests for rewards, but the point of contention lies in the fact that oftentimes these event quests provide character or plot development that's vital to the main plot of the game. With so much of the world's rich story locked behind these quests that are lost to history, there's no wonder that players are upset that they can't experience them for themselves if they started too late. I'm included in this, as if I had it my way personally, I would be looking up what order to play these quests in, not looking the quests up on YouTube. But there is a reason that I'm bringing this up here. I cited these quests as being lost to history, and that's precisely what many of these quests have become. They're some of the storied history of the world. They're snippets in time that players who are around for them can fondly look back on, while players who'd yet to play the game can only hear about them through someone who experienced the event for themselves. If I'm not taking into account the potential timeline issues that are presented with this idea, it would make sense in making the world more believable even still. Sometimes in life we just miss things due to our lack of presence, and that's ultimately why good storytellers are cherished so much in our society. They allow for us to experience something we weren't around for as best as they can. Now, I'm not defending this decision, as much of the player base has been asking for years for this to not be the case in the game, but what I am saying is, if this is the justification for our current circumstances, I could at least understand where Hoyoverse is coming from. I really set out today just to communicate how deeply and fully I can get lost in Genshin's world, and ultimately it comes from the world being so cohesive. There's a clear effort from the developers to both make the world feel lived in and to make us as players want to live in this world. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and a comment. If you want to see more from me in the future, please consider subscribing. That's the best way to show the YouTube algorithm that it should show you my content. I've really loved making videos like this, and I'm super thankful for all of you who've been showing up time after time. Everybody have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.